models, the ultimate hobby. This is the building of the Starship Enterprise. Its continuing mission to create a beautiful centerpiece, to seek out new builders and young model makers, to boldly go where no model has gone before. Welcome everyone to the Mile Frontier. If you're new to the channel, make sure to smash that subscribe button and ring that notification bell so you don't miss a second of any of my great content. I know guys, it's been a while since I've been back with you here. All I can say is I'm sorry for that. I've had in real life stuff come up. It's thrown things into a mix, and then of course one thing leads to another, and before you know it, you're backed up on models. So, you know, putting these videos together, it does take a little bit of time, so I did get caught up. I did get backed up, but I did get caught up. So all that means for you guys is you're going to start getting some rapid fire videos for the next couple of weeks, starting with this one. Where we're obviously, since we're on the bridge of the Enterprise, that means we're going to continue with building the Enterprise D. And if you don't remember last time, because it has been a while, we continued working on the saucer section, adding some panels to it, and we also started on the parts. We started fit up with the parts that are going to cover the bottom of the battle section. Naturally, in this issue, we're going to continue working on all that, and we're going to have a lot of fun doing it. So, I've kept you waiting long enough. Let's not keep you waiting any longer. Engage. Okay, so here we are with stage 99, and it starts off with some lights. Now we got 3 strands of lights on here. This one is the one we don't want to use, so we're going to just move that off to the side. And what they want us to do first is take these double strands, and we're just going to bend these out at 90 degrees on both sides. Basically, we're doing that with both strings of lights. Once we got those set up, we're going to move them off to the side. We're going to bring over this piece of our frame. This is basically the last bit of our framework, one of the last 2 bits that's going to go on our saucer section. And I'm going to flip it around so it's the same direction that we're looking at, because the first place we're looking at is right here. And we're gonna attach, we're gonna take one of these strings, and the black and yellow cord, they want us to attach to this. They want the whole thing to kind of go under here, so we're going to feed this through like that. This whole wire is going to end up underneath here. that. And then this one is going to kind of pivot like that and go on to here. And then we're going to brace it down with one of our braces and an AM screw. Just like that, nice and tight in there. Now we gotta put our next 3 lights into these 3 spots here the same way. I'm gonna go put those in right now and show you what they look like when it's all done. So just like that, and I don't mind telling you that was very finicky to get those in, but you're gonna have these 4 lights here. This spot we're gonna ignore for now. And now we need to go get our saucer section so we can put this ginormous piece where it needs to go. So go grab your saucer and I'll meet you back here. So naturally we're working on this side. And the next step we're gonna do here is we're gonna put this piece in. That comes off later. Now the key thing is we got to make sure we're not going to pinch any wires here. Once we got that down where it's going to go, it's going to get secured with a JM screw here, a pair of FM screws here, and 8 BM screws everywhere else. So I'm going to get all those in, and then I'll meet you back here when all those screws are in. Okay, now once you got all those in, remember these 2 are very deep set in there, so you're gonna want to make sure that you use a screwdriver that can get down in there pretty good. I mean, they're not terribly deep, but they are a little deeper than normal. Also, unlike some of the other ones where this part went under, it goes over on this one, so just keep that in mind. So now next, we're gonna take this strand of lights here, and we're going to put it into position at the end here where it's going to go. So just like before, we're going to secure it down with our last of these brackets and an AM screw. Then once you got that in, you're going to want to plug in all your lights. Just find a spot that they all seem to fit into. There we go. And the last part for stage 99, we'll have you turn these on and make sure that all of them light up. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lights have lit up. So with that done, that is it for stage 99. After all that work we did on the saucer last stage, it should come as no surprise that this next stage is going to be a panel that we have to put it together. We got a little bit of everything in this one. The first thing we have is, of course I've already done it for time reasons. We've got our 5 escape pod covers on here first, which are then covered with 2 panels here. This one with a single AM screw, and this one is covered but is screwed down with 2 IM screws. Then you've got a total of 5 clear windows, 8 dark windows, and then you've got this special extra wide dark window that will only fit into that one spot. Then we got a couple reflector panels that all get held down with AM screws. And then of course you've got your phaser array, which gets held down with a pair of DP screws. And once everything's done, it should look like that. And that is it for stage 100. So here we are with the start of stage 101, and we've got our next deck panel here. Now this one is surprisingly, it's plastic, which I guess is normal. I guess that's not surprising, but you can tell it is a bit bigger than what we've been used to making. And as a result, you put in 9 clear windows and 17 dark windows. Again, the longest lip of each window goes furthest from the narrow end of the panel. Then we put on our 2 reflector panels here. We're only securing it down with AP screws up at the top here. And once that's all done, you're going to grab the panel we worked on in stage 100, the lights that come in this set, and our saucer section, and we're going to, of course, go ahead and put these all on. So I'll meet you over with the saucer section. Now with our saucer section, we are working in this area. I've already gone ahead and plugged in all the lights that we had to do, and we run them the way they want them to run. Because that just makes a lot of sense for me. It was very tedious, very tiring, but it had to be done. Now our next part is going to take this panel and we're going to put our lights in it. Now there are 3 different lights we're going to put in, and the way they want you to do it is this single bulb with the red and gray they want you to put in here. And then, of course, we're going to hold that down with AP screws. So that one should be in there like that. And then the next one over, this middle one, is going to be... I want to say this red and blue here. Could also be this one. You just want one of the red and blues. And then one of the black and yellows goes in the end here. And naturally, once those are all in, we're going to bend them up 90 degrees. I'm just doing a little tester here. Now, naturally, just like everything else we've done before, we're going to put these 2 wires in here. With this red and blue going here. And the black and yellow going on this one. And then, of course, we're going to sandwich it in between this thing. This part's always fun. Alright, once you finally get those pieced in, just like we've done in the past, we get our part down, tuck in our pieces, make sure they're nice and tightly put together. And once they're in place, We secure them down in these 3 spots with FM screws. There we go, with those in there nice and tightly. Everything's lit up. Now, because I'm going to edit this the way I do, we will do the next part of this stage right now. But I would highly recommend going to stage 102 and finishing up with the saucer, because the next parts of stage 101 and 102 all deal with the battle section. So for the purpose of sticking with the instructions, that's the route I'm going. I'm going to just stick with the going in the instructional order, but you can feel free to stick with the saucer here and then go and do the rest of it later. So for this part of stage 101, we're going to be working on this part, as you might imagine. I'm going to take this window, which we had from stage 100. I'm going to fit it in right here. So many lights to mess around with. And then we got a reflector panel right here. Which is going to go on here. Like this. We're going to get some lights into this. So the first one we're going to put in is on this middle section. It's going to feed right into here. And once we get the lights into place where we want them, they're all going to get this is all going to get held down with a pair of BP screws. So you might want to get one light in first, put a BP screw in to hold it down, and then get your other light in and put your other screw in. Now, naturally, your other light is going to be the spare red and black one off this one. Go right in here. That is in there like that. And then we're going to put that to the side for a moment and bring over this piece where it would tell us now to put in all 8 of these escape pod covers, which you could do anytime if you have the extras. Again, the red line faces furthest from the center part. Now next comes the very tricky part. We're going to put all of this together. So the first thing we're going to do is try to mess with these, get these wires out of place here. We're going to set this in there like this. Then we're going to take this wire tree here. We're going to take our 2 green ones. I actually probably should do this like this. We're going to take our 2 green lights, and they're going to go into this section here. it's probably going to be easier if we just put this in. And we'll work one side at a time. Getting the green and the red lights in on one side. Securing it down with BP screws. Actually, why don't we start off by securing a couple of these down with some BP screws. So just like that, now we've got this whole mess wired up with lights and everything. Oop, I got a pinch wire here, hang on. Make sure you don't do that. No pinched wires is something we don't, pinched wires we don't want. Now the rest of this stage, they're all about training these wires to go where we want them to. So I'm going to zoom in the camera because we're first going to focus in on this area here. These two, this is actually where they want these two to go. So then these wires, they want facing in this direction. So you want this set going out that way. And they want these ones also going out towards the front here. Sort of like this. Then we got this middle section, which is going, they also want going towards the front here. So just get your wires going that way. They actually kind of want them to come. They want these to go down. But then they still want this to come up, so it's very strange what they're asking you to do here, but I think I know why they're doing it. So let's do this. Like that. And then these are all fine as they are. And once we get these wires trained where we want them to go, so you got them kind of going, basically this section is uncovered. You've got nothing in the middle that's really getting in the way. I mean, you'll have this one that's going to go kind of everywhere, but we will figure out what to do with that. But for right now, that is it for stage 101. So here we are at the start of stage 102, and we obviously have another panel where we've put in our 10 escape pod covers. And then we've covered this, we covered them with our panel here with 2 AM screws. And then we've put on our front piece. The wider end goes off to the left on this direction, and we've held that down with our IM screws. And now obviously we're going to go ahead and put that on our saucer section. So go grab your saucer and meet me back here. So we're obviously focusing in on this part of our saucer section. And as always, it's just going to slide in here. And we're going to have to pinch together this part. Get it nice and up in there. And when you're happy with that, it's held down with a pair of FM screws. For some reason I'm having problems getting that screw in, but I'm gonna take a risk and not really worry about it because obviously we're covering that up anyway. So you can get your cover piece and just cover that up. Alright, with that in place, we're done with our saucer section. So now we'll go get our lower section back and we'll continue on with that. So here we are with the exciting part of stage 102. We've got our battery compartment, it looks like, we're going to start getting the rest of this bottom section wired up and powered up. So the first thing we need to do is with our battery box here. I know it's been a long while since we've done this. We're going to be working off of this side. We've got a bolt, or nut, I should call it what it is. We got to get into its spot here. Once we get that in there, we're going to put a cover on it. Just like that. And we're going to secure that down with a pair of AP screws. Now with that in place, we need to go grab our entire battle section so we can do some work, so we can start doing all the work we need to do on that. So go grab that and I'll meet you back here. So now with our section here, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to plug in the power supply. And it goes into the only 2 slot that's left open on this. It's got to be fed through very carefully. Power cord is actually going to go under this part. And then get plugged in to the only open 2 spot that is left. very tricky to get to it, but we will do it. Alright, once we got that in there, the power supply, the switch, is going to come out here. It's going to be kind of like this, and this is going to be all in there. So once we got that in, we're going to take our CR 2032 batteries, a pair of them. They're going to go into here. And then we're going to put our battery cover on and secure it down with our battery screw. Switch is already on. Let's make sure that's off. And then just to make sure everything's good. Uh-oh. See, I had a feeling that might happen. That has happened on a couple of occasions with the nacelle. It doesn't quite create enough of a it doesn't quite create enough pressure with these batteries for some reason. So here's what we're gonna do. Here's what you gotta do. Just take any kind of paper, cardstock, padding, anything. Fold it up to add to it. Then when this tightens down, then once we can tighten this down, it'll hold the batteries down. And once that holds the batteries down, you can see the power works just fine. Now that we got the power supply figured out, it's time to piece all this together. So we're going to start with this part. Now these 3 wires this one, and this one are all going to go through here under this. plug them into these open slots. There we go. Now we got that nice and tightly in place. Now it's going to be the tricky part. We're going to take these two, and they're just going to go right to the last two spots. Right into the last two open ports here. Alright, now I'm just going to make sure all the lights are working. Alright, all my lights are working good. Now comes the really importantly, frustratingly tough part. I'm gonna feed all these wires carefully through where they're gonna go. This is going to be very difficult to show you, but basically trying to get all the wires so that none of them get pinched and none of them get blocked off. Once we get that all in place, we've got these little pieces which are going to go in here. So once we got all the wires in place, I'm going to do something completely different with these little parts because they are not working right for me. So I'm going to do something in a little bit. But first we're going to screw this whole thing down. First we're going to use 4 DP screws. I've already put 2 in on these 2 parts. And then your other 2 DP screws go into these 2 slots. On. And then once the DP screws are in, then we gotta hold everything else together. All these other screw holes get CM screws, and there are 12 of them. So I'm gonna go put all those in, and then I'll explain what I'm gonna do with these RCS thruster things, and I'll meet you back here. And there we go. And with that done, I did find out that these 2, they got listed as CM screws, but these are actually held in with DP screws, so they actually have a little typo in there. But with that all done, you can finally turn this on. And I know it's very hard to see with my lights, so hang on, I'm gonna go turn my other light off. There we go. Now you can really see this thing lit up. Here's the bottom. There she is up top. And your deflector dish. So now that our bottom base is powered up, we have a power box, we have a switch. That is all there is to do in that stage, and that is all there is to do in that issue. So that's it for this episode of the Model Frontier. And wow, what a lot we got done. It's so cool to finally have a power supply on the bottom of this and start seeing it all come together. Obviously, we've got one more part of the frame to go, and then that's it for the frame on the saucer section. So that's a lot of great stuff. I do want to say that, as I said in the beginning of the video, I did get backed up, and I'm actually, in real life at the time you're watching this, I'm actually well ahead on the Enterprise build. As a matter of fact, I am 2 issues away in real life from the Enterprise being done. Now, even though we will get to that point, being 2 issues away, I'm now at an impasse. I was going to do a model of the Millennium Falcon after I got done with the Enterprise, but things happened. Fanhome took that away, and now I have to figure out what model I want to do next. Well, problem is there's 7 different models I want to do. I can't pick one of them. I can't pick between them, so I decided I'm going to let you guys choose. If you go down into my community tab, there is a poll. It is in 2 parts just because of how YouTube is. They wouldn't let me put all 7 options in one. So there's 2 parts in the poll. There's 7 models to choose from. You guys go and vote. You'll vote on what model you want to see me do next. The winner, I will announce at the end of stage 31 of the Enterprise. So I'll announce it when I'm done with the Enterprise model. There's a ton of great choices. I'll be honest with you, I don't know what's going to win, and frankly, I don't care what's going to win. Any of them will do nice. So, go vote. Again, community tab down below. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe and like if you like the video, and I will catch you next time on the Model Frontier.